question 11. First off, before we get going on these, what did you think of them in comparison to the first 10? First 10 were easier. Okay. There's a couple doozies. I agree with you on this one. So let's do. Let's go through some of them and talk about it. Because once you break them down, it's not hard. They're just lots of steps. So, all right, question 11. ABCs transform to create the image A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. Which ones could have been performed? What'd you guys say?
Third and fourth.
The third and fourth. Okay. And we have a first, okay. Any other ones? Do we know for sure that 2 and 5 were not?
Yeah.
Awesome, they're not, okay? Because 270 degrees counterclockwise would put it over here. A line of negative 2x would be like real sharp right here, so it would be more over here. So, okay, good. Let's start with reflection across the x. That puts my A point here. And then across the y puts a point there. D. And then, oh, wait, C's going to go here, D's going to go there, so D's there. I agree. All right. 180 clockwise, absolutely. So I agree with 3 and 4. If I have the reflection across my line of y equals x, okay, that means that A is 1 space away, A is 1 space away. We're good on that one. D is 1, 2 and a half, half, 1, 2. What's the problem there? Huh? Wrong letter. That's B, not D. So it can't be across the line of reflection, so because it's got the wrong letters, all right? So there is the trick thing. Yes, it looks like it would be across y equals 5. Check and make sure you're matching up letter to letter, okay? Because these are all or nothing. So if you put 1, 3, and 4, even though you got 3 and 4 right, the whole thing's wrong. All right, so just, you have plenty of time. Take your time and match everything up. All right, good? Question 12. What'd you do with this one? The planets in our solar system are models using spheres. The diameters are shown. The volume's 55.9. What is the diameter? Where do you even start? Any clue? Thomas, what'd you start with? The big, okay. I agree with that one. Okay. What's the volume formula?
R squared.
Nope. That's circle. This is the volume for a sphere. I don't know what it is. I can never remember it. Where am I going to find it? On that reference sheet. So, on the reference sheet that you have in front of you, what is the formula for volume of a sphere? 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, and yeah, it's not a circle. That's the thing. You gotta. This is where that reading the storyline really comes into play with this. Okay. Okay, we know the story. We know that Jupiter has a diameter of 142.984, and we know that volume of Saturn is 59.9%. Do I even know the volume of Jupiter? No, so I got to figure that one out to get something to go along with Saturn, because I want, bottom line, I want Saturn's diameter. All right? So, the volume of Jupiter is going to be 4/3 pi times, oh, it's radius and this is diameter. So I got to half that. So 142.984 divided by 2 is 71.492. Okay? This is where one of those writing the stuff down and not just trying to put in the calculator, because the calculator could be online, could be on there. Writing it down to keep your train of thought in line is going to really help you. So, I have 4/3 pi times 71.492. All right, so my volume of Jupiter is 299.4. I don't think that's right. 4/3 pi times 71.492. Oh, I guess it is. All right, 465. All right. So now I can say, well, hey, the volume of Saturn is going to be this amount times 0.599. Everybody with me on that? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes, and I would recommend that because you're used to it. You know, it messes me up if I have to use somebody else's calculator and I don't know where the buttons are and stuff. So take your own if you have one. Okay. All right, I have one that you can borrow.
Well, I just see batteries.
Okay.
I decided to use it just because I have batteries.
All right, so now I know the volume of the Saturn, but the Saturn's diameter is what I'm looking for. So now I gotta go, okay, 179.379 equals 4/3 pi r cubed. Because if I solve for the radius, then I can double that, and then I'll finally get my diameter. So, not difficult. Put your phones, get your earbuds out. Aaron, earbuds out. Pay attention, please. Okay? Then I can actually finally get my diameter. Okay? So like I said, this is one of those where it's not hard, but there's a lot of steps. All right? Okay, so if I divide both sides by 4/3 pi, that's going to give me radius cubed. So I divide by, and I'm going to put this in a parentheses just to make sure they know I need the whole thing divided by there, the calculator, because I don't trust my calculator sometimes. And I get my radius of 42.82. Are we good with that? Okay, now, how do you find a cube root on your calculator? Well, on mine, I have to go to the math button. If you can't remember where to find something, go to your math button. It's got all sorts of fraction stuff. But if you go down, there's my cube root, and I hit 42.8237, and that makes my radius 3.4986. Are you with me? And then I double that and get my diameter. Okay? Lots of steps, but it's doable. I think we had a... Okay? No, it was asking for the diameter. So my diameter is going to be times 2. All right, question 13. All right. What was your response on this one? Did you know what it was talking about?
We're talking about the dotted lines.
Nope. What's a cross section? Nope. No, well, kinda. Okay, so I have my squishy football, right? If I take the football and I take a knife and I saw it in half, what is the shape of the new base? If I'm going to turn it upside down, what would the shape of the new base be? It'd be a circle, right? That's what they mean by a cross section is if you cut in through it, what is the shape of that you're cutting through? So on this one, what they're talking about is a plane cut through the points shown. So that means I'm coming down through these two. And so I would cut down like here, which would then give me what shape? Does that make
Overall,
sense?
the prism would be trapezoidal.
No, it's just talking about if a cross section is just taking a slice out. Not what the two separate pieces are going to become. If I just took a slice out at that particular point, what would my new shape be? And on this one, it's a rectangle. And it all depends on where you're cutting into the figure. So like if I was going to cut at the points, if I was cutting at the point here and here, that means I would be sliding through here. That would give me a triangle. Does that make sense? No, it's not 3D. That's why I'm saying it's not 3D. It is because it is you're just taking a slice out. And it's not going to be a rectangle because now my sides, it's the sides of the triangle are getting cut. It's going to follow that with that. But whereas where I come in straight up and down on here,
I'm saying what that shape's the same.
right, a rectangle
No, the shape right there. Cut it down the side.
is going to stay a triangle. Yes. If I'm cutting it coming in down here, it's a rectangle. Okay, does that make sense? I have some stuff at, I think I have them at home. They're like the flexi cones where you cut it out. Well, let me see if I can, you guys can cut them up and see what the shapes end up looking like. Help you visualize it, okay? All right, 14, circle with the center is shown. Who remembers the formula for an equation of a circle? Anybody? Is it on your formula sheet?
Yeah. No, circumference.
Not the circumference or area. The actual equation for a circle. Like equation for a line is y equals mx plus b.
2 pi radius squared.
Huh?
Is it like 2 pi radius squared?
No, that's your area. It's got to have an x and a y in it.
It's like the
No,
X,
that's your circumference.
the X and the Y is where the center point is.
Yep, that you're on the right track. Do you remember?
X plus h to the second
Almost. X minus h to the second plus
minus
y minus k squared perfect equals r squared. Perfect. Okay. What does h and k represent? It's which point though? It is a point, I agree, but which point? The center? Yeah. So here it would be 1, 1. So I have x minus 1 squared plus y minus 1 squared. Perfect. Now, what's my radius? 1, 2, 3, 4. So what's 4 squared? 16. Make sure you simplify that out. Okay? I don't know for sure, but I would guess that the state will not give you credit if you put 4 squared. That's to the center from the radius is from the center to the edge of the circle.
No, that's the point.
No, that's 4. This is the point. The center is the point. And the ordered pair of that point is 1, 1. Okay? Good. Ringing bells. Okay. All right. Question 15.
But how can we use H?
Just to make it so specific to a circle. Because there's a lot of different equations like parabola, and you get your hyperbolics and ellipses and all these other ones that it uses the center point, and so that you know that it's not this point or this point. I don't know where they came with H and K. They just, it's like, there's some mathematician 200 years ago said, hey, let's use those. Oh. All right, what's the equation of the line perpendicular to the line M and passes through the point 3,2? Back to your memory banks. First off, what is this showing here? Y equals, so what form does it want the equation in? Beautiful, y equals mx plus b. Okay, so that means we need a slope and we need a y-intercept, agreed?
Yeah.
Okie dokie, what do we know about perpendicular slopes? It's opposite reciprocal. Perpendicular slope or opposite reciprocal. So, what's the slope of this line? Well, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So down 5 and then over 2. So what's my perpendicular slope going to be? 2 over 5. Perfect. Okay. Now, it passes through the point 3,2. You have 2 ways you can solve this thing.
Why do you flip it again?
That's the rule.
Because you don't want not wanting negative.
No, you opposite means opposite sign. Reciprocal means flip.
Perpendicular.
Yep. Okay. Now, 2 ways you can go about doing this. You can use the point slope formula. So that means I would have y minus, and it's through this point. So y minus 2 is equal to 2/5 x minus 3. And then I'd have to solve to put in point slope formula. Do you agree with that so far? Is this ringing bells? Yeah.
But it was -5 too, and you flipped it.
Yes, because it's opposite sign. Opposite reciprocal. Change your sign. Because think about it, if I'm perpendicular, that means I have to have a line looking something like that, right? If this slope is negative, to have it going the other way, that means the slope has to be positive. Okay? All right, so when I add my 2 to both sides, I get, plus 4/5. Okay? Now, what if you don't remember point slope formula? What's another way to solve it? Any ideas? You can use slope intercept form because we have this point of 3,2. And so I could say 2 is equal to my 2/5 times 3 plus b. And so I get 2 is equal to 6/5 plus b. See, same numbers. And b is going to be 4/5. And then I just have to go, okay, now I know that 2/5 is my slope, 4/5 is my b. Either way is going to work. All right. I think it's faster with point slope, but if you can't remember point slope, use the other way. It's okay. Multiple methods of madness. Good with that one? All right. Line segment, endpoints, -1, -3, 5. C's 5, 1. B's on line segment C and located. What's the ratio? What are they even asking for? Okay? They basically are asking for the distance of the two lines. All right? So that means I have to find the distance between AB and then find the distance between BC. All right, so how do you find the distance between something? Anybody remember? What's your distance formula? Remember this? x2 minus x1 squared plus my y2 minus y1 squared?
Well, actually, yes.
I think, is that on your reference sheet?
No.
It's not? Okay. That's your distance formula. Then it's a matter of just plugging and chugging. So I'm going to have -1 minus 0.2 squared plus -3.5 plus 3 squared. And that's going to give me the distance of AB. Okay. All right. And then you find the distance of BC and you put them over top of each other. And it ends up being 1/4. But we're running out of time, so I want to get rolling. Okay. All right. 17. Triangle ABC has vertices. What's the easiest way? Find the perimeter of the triangle. Plot it. Look at what you got going on. So if I go -2, 3, 4, 0, -1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm at 1, 2, 3, -1. I need the distance of each of the lines to add up to them, right? Do I have any straight lines?
No.
Do I want to use the distance formula? You can. You have two options. You can use the distance formula, or you could do that one where you make a right triangle and use Pythagorean theorem on all of them. Huh? Well, no, because then you're going to go, so this would be A, this would be B, and this would be C. Then you add all your C's up.
Use the distance formula.
You can use the distance
Or do you
formula.
have to cut it by like we just reduce it with a fraction like half?
Nah, you should be okay with that.
Because I didn't know if a triangle was different.
No, that's just with your area, not the perimeter. You're just finding the distance and then add